Hey Mena Warriors, it's Kate and welcome back to my channel where you can expect weekly videos from me all on menopause every Monday. So today I'm talking about a lack of confidence and also a loss of femininity that you might experience as you're going through the menopause. It's important to say that the menopause is a natural biological process. It's something that we all go through. Most women go through it between the ages of say 45 and 55. I was a lot earlier than that. By the time I'd got to my early 40s, I was postmenopausal. But it's characterized by a decrease in the female sex hormones. Testosterone is one of those, progesterone, and also estrogen. And while menopause is a natural part of the aging process, it can also be really challenging physically and emotionally. Today's subject, lack of confidence, lack of femininity, is one of the most common emotional challenges that a woman will experience during the menopause. The lack of confidence really is, it can manifest in a number of ways. Some women may feel self-conscious about the physical changes that are taking place, such as that can be weight gain, hot flushes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, pelvic floor weakness, possibly. I think just imagine that you are the woman who's getting really hot and sweaty in bed at night, who is having pelvic floor weakness, who is having vaginal dryness and has a partner that doesn't really understand, or you feel difficult to communicate those issues with your partner. You might even feel it difficult to communicate those issues with your doctor. There is so much stigma out there, and that the more that we can all talk about this without going, it's embarrassing, we need to, because these are not things that should go unnoticed. They can have a profound psychological impact on you and also a profound influence on your relationships. They can lead to other behaviors. So you start to sort of numb because you have got these issues and they're causing you emotional distress. Numbing might involve drinking more alcohol than you would normally drink, comfort eating, withdrawing from your circle of friends and becoming more isolated, which then can lead to various anxiety disorders. There are a lot of changes that happen, not just in our intimate relationships. The dynamics of your relationship with your significant other may have changed. You may have been a stay-at-home mum for 20, 30 years. You've done all the running around to Johnny's violin lessons. You've done all the running around to Sabrina's singing lessons. You've done all the running around for the various clubs and plays and parents' evenings, and you've done all the cooking. You've packed your kids' school lunch because you wanted to make sure that they had the healthy lunch and not maybe the stuff that they sell or give away at school that's maybe not so healthy. And your entire life has revolved around maintaining a home. I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but for a lot of women it does. And even if you've had a successful working career and you've not been that stay-at-home parent, you'll find that, as you're getting those hot flushes, you might be in a meeting and you have this volcanic eruption and you're just literally sitting there in sweat. Your face is flushing. You're having to talk. You might have to present something. You haven't got quick access to a fan or a window, and you feel like everybody's looking at you. They may well be, because they might be thinking, what the heck's going on with you? You may have brain fog. All these things have a big impact on how confident we feel about ourselves. With lockdown, a lot of women or parents have started self-educating their children. Well, you have very little time for yourself, and we run ourselves ragged, and actually we teach people how to behave towards us. So just imagine if you're doing all that stuff, if you're doing all the running around, you're doing all the cooking, you're doing all the cleaning, you're doing all the teaching, where is the time for your own self-care? And if you're able to lay down a few ground rules, it might just be 30 minutes having a bath at the end of the day by yourself. I remember as a mum, I don't get me wrong, I adore being a parent, but it was I remember the first time I actually had a shower with no child running into the bathroom, and for that matter, going to the toilet with no child running into the bathroom. Now it's just the dogs or the cats. But it hits home very hard when you have literally dedicated your entire existence to bringing up a family. You may then be worried, maybe the dynamics of your significant relationship have changed so much that you're splitting, you're going your own different ways. You might then be having financial concerns. You may have been a stay-at-home parent for so long, you have no physical or skill set. You've got no letters after your name. You've got no official qualifications. I know women who are highly qualified, and because they're over 50, they cannot get a decent job. They can't get a basic job in a lot of cases. So I think until you sort of reach this stage of life, it's actually hard to appreciate just how many things can affect your energy levels negatively. You might be caring for aging parents. That in and of itself is a huge drain on your energetic levels. You may be struggling to sleep. Menopause affects how we sleep. And on top of that, you might be waking up with hot flushes. And then when you wake up, your mind's racing with anxiety. And then you have to wake up the next day and get up and perform. Well, with all the other things, that the physical changes and the emotional changes, you're exhausted. How on earth can you even be expected to try and find your sense of femininity and confidence? So know what is happening to you is really significant. Try not to just sweep it under the rug. Appreciate the fact that you are going through an enormous emotional and physical change, and be mindful not to fill that hole. You know, I always think truth is best. Conversations can be hard, but if you're having a conversation that comes from your point of truth to those people who need to hear your truth, that is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Because if they do not accept your truth, well, then that's a rude awakening, but the time is probably to move on, or for them to get some guidance, emotional growth, emotional intelligence. By the way, a brilliant book on emotional intelligence is by Daniel Goleman. It's very readable. You'll learn a lot about other people's behaviors, and also it's something you might want to suggest that another member of your family or somebody close to you may want to read. Just recommend it as a really great book. See if they pick it up, they'll learn a lot. You know, as years go through, as we've gone through the generations, women were really revered. Women were really powerful, particularly sort of the ages of the Celtics, the Druids, you know, paganism. Mother Earth was cherished. Women were cherished. Age wasn't, beauty was not just associated with youth as it is nowadays. Beauty was associated with a certain standing, social standing, a certain wisdom. So cultural and societal expectations have a big impact on us. I've just started doing face yoga because I'm trying to get rid of the downward droop. And why am I doing that? Because I want to try and preserve my youth as long as I can, being completely blatantly obvious about it, and doing it in as natural a way as I possibly can. But, you know, go back to like the pagan years, they wouldn't have been doing face yoga. They've been out doing something useful. You know, they wouldn't. I think we get so wrapped up in how we look, and that is due to how our society is, unfortunately. It's not, you're not to blame. There's nothing egotistical or vain about it. It's just having, you know, there are mornings I look in the mirror, nearly every morning I look in the mirror and think, bloody hell. Okay. And I don't like wearing makeup. I just dislike wearing makeup. So there are some mornings I'm having a lack of confidence, just being completely honest about it. I was asking my daughter yesterday, she's like, are the dark lines under my eyes that bad? Do you think I should start wearing foundation and a concealer? So, you know, it does happen to us all. And I don't think any of us should be judging anyone negatively for wanting to, you know, just maybe just like what we see in the mirror, rather than thinking, flipping heck, where do I start? But that is down to our cultural norms. Just because those are cultural norms doesn't mean they're right. And so I think, you know, we need to give ourselves a bit of a break. We need to keep promoting the fact that women in all their ages, with all their wrinkles, with all their saggy floppy bits, with all their scars, with all their hardships, have a tale of success to remind you that once we've got this far, but also that there is so much still inside you as a woman that can be so valuable. And when we sort of can peel ourselves away from that sense of fulfilling a societal youthful expectation, then I think it frees us somewhat. I'm not saying I'm freed from that myself. I'm a work in progress too. But there are, yeah, I think when we can work on the things that do make us important, our wisdom, our friendships, our circles, our community, I'm very lucky in the fact that I surround myself with a lot of uplifting women. I work with a lot of business women. We are all in the sort of health and wellness industry. We work at helping people feel better about themselves, not just physically. I mean, you've probably seen the workouts and stuff, but the emotional stuff, the mindset stuff. Mindset is where everything starts. And when you are surrounded by a group of really empowering, uplifting women who are all getting older, it makes a huge difference. It really is. I was thinking about this yesterday. I mean, I've been single for many years, and I was thinking, you know, maybe if I didn't have access to this community that I have access to now, would I feel lonely? I don't know. I've always said, oh, I never feel lonely. I don't. But would I feel lonely? I don't know. It's hard. I really do appreciate the fact that we have social media that enables us to connect with people who are similar to us, similar age, similar challenges, so that we can actually support each other. I think that's really important. So firstly, you can start to challenge negative societal perceptions around menopause. Seek out positive role models who embrace their age, celebrate their life experience. You know, you can also surround yourself with supportive friends and family who value you for who you are rather than what you look like. You know, Judi Dench, Sharon Stone, Oprah Winfrey, Pink, Maggie Smith, the Queen, Jane Goodall, Boudica. Boudica's my hero, my absolute hero. I'll talk about her in a little while. Reverend Rose Hudson Wilkin, Floella Benjamin, Rosa Parks, Mother Teresa, amazing book on Mother Teresa that I read a little while back. These are really inspiring women, and some of them, yes, have got access to amazing plastic surgeons. A lot of them haven't, but they still carry a powerful message. And there will be others that I've missed. You'll probably think, oh, I wish you'd said so and so. And I've only said a few that have like sprung to mind that I suppose I personally find inspiring. There is an amazing book that I have downloaded today. I've been reading the reviews on it. If Women Rose, Rooted by Sharon Blackie. Basically, she calls out and sort of awakens Celtic blood in myths, her rerootedness to her place, her belonging on earth, and talking about really empowering female role models. She's a psychologist. She's also specialized in neuroscience, and she's a mythologist and specializes in Celtic studies. By the way, Celtic studies, if you're not entirely sure what Celtic means that you have or you're connected with the people and the culture of Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and some other areas of Brittany and northern France. That's what Celtic refers to. So I think a lot of people think, oh, I don't actually really know what Celtic is. So I haven't read her book yet, but I have found some amazing reviews on it. And the reason I found her book is because, like I said, Boudica is a massive heroine of mine. I used to live very close to Colchester in Essex, and she led the uprising against the Romans in AD 60, I think it was. Colchester used to be called Kala. Oh, I can never remember the flipping name of it. Collodunum, I think it's what it's called. I wish I could remember the name. I used to I've been there for years. But she basically slaughtered all the Romans. It was a very bloody uprising. And there's some great literature written about her as well. In fact, Manda Scott, she wrote a trilogy, actually it's 4 books, but it's called a trilogy, about Boudica. So, you know, if you're looking for an empowering woman who has existed, Boudica, I think in more modern terms she was known as Boadicea, but I think her traditional Roman name is Boudica. The museum in Colchester Castle, if you ever go to Colchester, go and look at the Colchester Castle, because there's a lot of information about her there. It's absolutely fascinating, and you can actually go underneath into like the old Roman ruins as well. It's a very interesting tour, and you'll learn an awful lot about Boudica. That's how I found out about her, and I just thought, wow, this woman is just game on. My absolute heroine. So make sure that you are surrounding yourself with things that are going to inspire you, you know, to reawaken your sense of being a woman, your natural power, your sense of belonging to not just the people around you, but your deep connection to Mother Earth. I mean, I'm a real tree hugger. I adore nature. I adore Earth, and I feel really powerfully connected to Earth. And I think that's probably because of the stuff I've read and the qualifications that I have. But there's nothing to stop you reading and becoming more rooted yourself in that too. Just going back to the sort of societal expectations, I think a lot of us will automatically think we want to be sexy, we want to be pretty, we want to be vibrant, we want everybody to think, wow, she looks great. And that is all a cultural weight upon us. When we can really just step into who we are as a woman individually, by stepping into your female shoes, you're already awakening that fire, deep fire within you. You don't need outside approval to stand firm in who you are. You don't need outside approval to find your inner anchor. You've got it there already. Who you are is deep inside here. You're already attached to her. It's just a matter of you becoming more rooted to her, to you, than all the periphery of what's going on outside. Because none of that really matters. It's all a load of BS. Surround yourself with people who you find empowering, who lift you up, who support you. And if they're not supporting you, cut that tie, because you are worth so much more than that. I speak to so many women who, oh God, they're hanging around relationships with these men that are off with other women, or off, that they're not valuing the woman that they have in front of them. And they're scared to let that go because they're getting older. They're scared they're not going to replace that man. Well, wouldn't it better to be single rather than stuck with somebody who doesn't even respect you? I know it's easy for me to say because I am single. I've been single for years. I'm very practiced at being single, but I promise you, it is so easy. You always know who's going to put the bins out. And I think as we get older as well, I've developed some amazing female friendships. And I want that for you too. We get stuck in this sort of societal expectation, and we can release ourselves from that. It's just a matter of you saying to yourself, you're worth more than the BS out there. Jowls and all, baggy bits and all. Our wounds and our baggy bits tell a story. There was something I saw, a post the other day by somebody who's got a very large account. She's written a book on menopause, and so she gets sort of speaking opportunities. And she'd shared this picture of a child had drawn a picture of a woman in the shower, and this woman had very dangly labia on this picture, and the amount of comments, almost mocking, laughing comments that this picture sort of generated. And I was reading through them, and it was just like, it just begged belief. That I love the fact that the woman who posted it said, you know, this is how my child sees me. Brilliant. I love that, you know, droopy boobs and everything. But it was the comments that were coming from a lot of women about the labia in sort of mockery. And I don't know, it just sort of, I just didn't think it was very appropriate, to be quite honest. We all have our war wounds. If you've given birth to a child, naturally, you're lucky if you don't have any wounds. But we can embrace those, can't we? Isn't that such a valued badge that we can carry, a badge of honor? And when we turn it from looking like a scar to a badge of honor, it changes the entire narrative about what that means. So there are things you can do. Help your mental health, do the exercise, eat cleanish, don't fill that hole with alcohol, and don't worry if you do enjoy a glass or two of wine in the evening. There's so much guilt around drinking bloody wine. I'm one of the healthiest, happiest people I know, and I drink probably 2 glasses of wine every night, and sometimes a bottle of beer. Not a massive bottle, but a bottle of beer. It works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. And if you're sensitive to alcohol, just ignore this little bit that I'm saying. But just mind that you're not numbing things, and that you're doing it because you actually genuinely enjoy a nice glass of wine, not to make you forget how you feel in your body, or to make you perform in a different way later on when the lights go out. So surround yourself with uplifting people. Read books that are going to help you ground to the powerful woman that you are. And if you're really still struggling, seek out professional help, because you deserve to be heard. And sometimes it is you do need a little bit of help to help your thought processes support you rather than work against you. I think one of the best things you can do is start reading or listening to books that are going to really help you ground to the empowering and beautiful woman that you are. So I hope this was helpful. I'd be really interested to hear, what are your thoughts on femininity in the menopause? Do you feel that the societal norms have affected you negatively? Yeah, just if you're able to, I know that takes guts as well to leave comments, particularly under a video like this one. Maybe if you want to, just send me a private message. I'm easiest probably on Instagram at Kate Hartley UK. So if you want to connect there, then I know under a video it's out in the open, and messaging on YouTube is not so easy. So maybe find me on Instagram at Kate Hartley UK, and then we can continue that conversation there. But thank you for your company. Remember, you are amazing. I'll drop the links of the books that I mentioned today, and I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I think it's helpful to read stuff like that helps you remember what an amazing woman you are. So take good care of yourself, and I will catch you next week.